Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager and you're about to launch a new product or service? Or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started. Bonjour, hello, and welcome to this 35th episode of the Nata PR School podcast. Laurence Lachance is my guest today. I'm so excited to have Laurence on the podcast today. She's the Vice President and Business Development at Orfé Design. And we'll be talking about branding today and why investing in your image and promotion is so important. Let me tell you about Orfé a little bit. So Orfé is an agency. They're based out of Montreal if you're looking for them. They are what we call a branding agency. They have more than 35 years of experience across North America. They have clients all over the world. And they specialize in the art of branding, design, and communication. They have both clients in the B2C, business to consumer, and they have also B2B, so business to business clients. They have a wide knowledge of all North American regulations. So if you're outside of Montreal or Canada or even the US and you're thinking of entering the North American market, they might be a good partner for you. You should be contacting them, and I'm sure they will be happy to answer any questions you might have. And so they are innovators. They make so many companies shine. And I like how they present themselves. They say they are creators of value. So voila. Thank you, Laurence. I'm happy that you've accepted my invitation. And bonjour.
Hey, bonjour. Thank you so much, Natalie.
It's a long introduction. Huh? So welcome, Laurence.
I love introduction.
Yeah, but I think it's fun for our listeners to have a better understanding of what you do and who you are. So tell me, first question, so what is branding according to you and your experience? How do you explain branding?
Well, I think, as you say, for over 35 years, our vision of branding, even though it has evolved, it's still the same. For us, what it's going to enhance, I think I said right, the value of the product or the service behind is a simple function goal. So what really can express and crystallize the credibility of a company or a brand with the reinforcing of course, the brand equity. So it's really, really what makes or going to make you shine in front of your potential clients or potential competitor.
Yeah, and I remember I heard you say that if you are looking for employees, especially nowadays, it's sometimes difficult to find and recruit new people. Of course, an employee that doesn't know you and start looking around, especially if they look at you and your image is not great, you might lose them for your competitors, right? So this is
Definitely.
also another good way of looking at investing in branding and investing in your image, depending on what you're looking for. But tell me, because it's so wide, so many things you can do. What is the scope of your services? Or maybe you can give us an example if it's easier.
Yeah. So what we do is always the same with all of our clients. And we have a lot of partners that, of course, help us do everything for our client. There's no limit of what we're able to provide, but it's really all the strategy behind the brand. What's going to make you unique in front of all the market, and what's going to also show the added value of your proposition for potential clients, buyer. So we have a lot of clients, of course, in the B2B, so business to business part, but we also have a lot of clients into the consumer. So they are the one that doesn't matter if it's a website, if it's their brand, if it's just the way that they want to launch a new campaign for, I don't know, the brand damage of the old people as an example. Well, it's all stuff that we're able to think, come up, and we work, of course, with team in place or with our team or other partner, depending on what they do.
So it can go to, we need a new image, to we're launching a product. So it's
exactly
this wide.
website, and so on and so on.
Yeah, we're becoming a new, or probably companies who are like, they know they need to renew who they are probably and change their image. So that must be interesting work to do. And why is it so important, branding? You just mentioned it a little bit, but why, according to you, why is it so important?
Well, it's the first impression that people have of your company or your brand. So if you want to really make them feel that you will be the right partner for them or the right product for them, we need to feel it when we see who you are on the web. And the fact that now the brand is very important and a lot of people using new technology, such as, of course, internet, which is not really a new technology, but still, it's like a sales rep working for you 24/7.
I really like that definition. Yeah, it's like someone representing you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's funny. Someone told me one day, if you want to be really, really rich, you have to find a way to sell something 24/7. So this is what you create when you work with business that are talking to other business. It could be business to consumer as well, obviously. But yeah, if you create something, make sure that you're you're well represented. That you're going to be appealing to your customers or other companies, right? So this is extremely powerful.
And what is as an example, we have a great client when we do a great branding and the branding is strong and there's a thought behind and a strategy. You don't have to change it. So we did it with Natura and they have the same logo. They have the same brand universe. We did some tweak a few years ago, but never touched the logo. And they have the same for over 20 years. So you can see that when it's well done and it's done for last, it's a great investment in my mind.
Yeah. And they're specialized in...
soy milk. So yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, in not just so that people know, in the Canadian market, if you think soy milk, the name that comes to your mind is Natura. That's a huge accomplishment. And you just said that they haven't changed their image for 20 years. So they got their money back.
Yeah,
that's money well invested, I find. But I'm sure it took some time to get to this, the visual, which is kind of timeless and very recognizable. It's an art to do that, to create.
And they haven't spent thousands and thousands of dollars of TV ads and billboard. They just did a great work. They stay, I think, true to the product that they were selling to their consumer. And it's all what Natura was creating as a feeling that people, we call it love mark. So people fell in love with the brand and they definitely continue to buy it because over 20 years and having the same, I think people like it.
This is interesting. I know it's not a client of yours, but just as another example, Del Monte brand. Everybody knows Del Monte in North America. They're 135 years old. And they just tweaked their logo, but when you look at it, you recognize them, obviously. And they're playing with the colors, the green, and so. But they didn't work with you, but they work with the design and a branding firm for sure, because they kept all the essence. And if you look at the old one, when you have them both
side to side,
coast
to coast, no problem,
coast to coast. I was about to say on the same page, and you see the difference. Sometimes my brain doesn't want to speak in just one language. And then you see the difference. But when you look at the new one, it's like you see something, you feel something different, but it's very subtle. So all this to say that this is a good example on how to invest in a very strong branding.
You're 100% right. Del Monte, you're right. And you see, this is the agency that worked with them did a very good job because they did soft transition, but everybody still feel the same. Even though it's weird because consumer has weird way of looking. I can tweak something on my packaging as an example, even though it's the same product, it may taste different. So we have to come up with some plain, same brand, same product, new visual. So that's a trick for anybody in the consumer business. When you're planning to do a switch or a revamp or just small change, plan it to first, just to make sure that nobody really feel that it's going to be different. So new image coming soon, as an example, could be a good trick, just to make sure that consumer don't feel that you have changed your recipe. Some say that doesn't even taste the same. Well, it's the same recipe,
crazy,
people. Image has a very strong impact.
That's a good point. Thank you for sharing that. And I love you say that you create value, and it's always a mystery. Sometimes I talk about it with my clients. And so what does it mean for you?
Well, I think we really partner with our clients. So we really help the business to increase not only the credibility, but the brand recognition, or if they want to develop new market, that's definitely something we do for them. So we really help them to increase the value of what they look like, or what they say, or who they're talking to. Sometimes they're not even talking to the right market. So this is why we're really there to give them the right tools and the right, not only look, but strategy behind to go and achieve the objective that they have when they came ask us first. So this is why we like to say that we create value to our partners. And
I'm sure you see things they don't see. Sometimes, they propose a product that's, let's say, from a certain banner, then you're able to tell, hey, but have you thought about this and that? You should put on your packaging that and that. And some companies forget that, let's say it's 100% bio, you can really recycle the packaging way. Let's say you can recycle something, or, if sometimes they don't even think of putting it forward. So I'm sure you can find value in everything they do and tell them.
Definitely, you're selling me better than I do.
Yeah, Orfé is what I call one of our strategic partners, and I know you call us like that too. And we work together on some campaigns, and I really love how you work because we have similar value. I always say that our main top value at the agency, we have 3 main values. One is serving at the highest level, and we serve clients the same way. Clients is super important. We want them to be happy. We want them to get results. So
and always do that extra miles that maybe other will not do. But it's sure. I think, part of our DNA. And this is why we're such a great fit, is we're challenging each other, and we really have, I think, the client as the core of our business, or the human, if I can say. It's something that we're really, really similar. And this is why you're a partner with us for a long time now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll work on some campaigns. We are working on some campaigns right now. And I'm sure there's some other projects coming in the near future for sure. With everything changing, and I don't know, people, if you think you're not going to have business in the coming weeks and months, there will be so many opportunities. When the pandemic's going to be over, it's going to be crazy. Everything's going to be exploding. That's my feeling.
So this is why, get ready, people, because you don't want to be the last at the end of the road.
You don't want to miss this. Yeah, there's a big wave coming, for sure. And let's talk about the family aspect of the business, because your father founded Orfé. And we never discussed that, but I felt that the podcast was the perfect occasion to ask you that question. So, because your brother and yourself, you took over. And I was wondering, what's the easiest part of working in a family business, or the hardest? So tell us a little bit about that.
So what was a little tricky, it was to jump on a moving train, because it's 35 years that now it's running. And when we get there was 20 something years I was there before we jumped on board. It was a
successful agency before you took over. It's like your father gave you an agency that was dying, right?
No, really not dying at all. Very strong client, big client, beautiful client. And this is why we need to keep everything that he has worked for. But we also had to bring our flavor and our way of seeing the development of that company. That was, yes, of course, even though he's still there and he's really a mentor, but he's more a gentleman farmer, as I like to say. He's working on his land and he's like his little chicken, but he's always there when we have that big strategic moment, and he's coming to meet some client at the beginning to really feel and understand what they need and where they want to go, and it always give us some input. Of course, he's less present, and it's really me and Timothy, my brother. He's really doing more the strategy and creative part. I'm really more doing the business development and client taking care, if I can say, with, of course, the help of all our team. But we fight, of course, a lot. We can yell at each other, but we're brothers. So at the end of the day, we're having a nice glass of wine, or he's opening his beer, and we're putting everything behind. But it's just hard to not bring back work at home or during the weekend or during family dinner. But at the same time, it's fun. I think I wouldn't change my job for anything in the world. I think I'm at the right place at the right time, and having a partner like my brother and still have my dad involved is just, seriously, I'm blessed for this.
And we had this discussion a bit earlier about, it's really rare in the ad industry or communication industry that some agencies are like the family, the kids are taking over. It really happens rarely, because normally what happens, it either dies when the owner dies, or it's bought by a bigger ad agency. And we see that a lot. And especially in Canada, most of the agencies were bought, like big agencies were bought by international companies. Or will be soon. So you're one of the rare one that still have these deep roots too, which is really interesting in North America. And it gives a different flavor and a different type of service also. So
I think you couldn't have explained it better than this. I think, yes, I think I cannot even count the amount of firm that I know that could be a second generation. And even then, I don't even sure if I have like two in my mind here. And the fact that we're really international, having the size of the client that we have, for being more like a boutique, if I can say, type of agency, really, I think, bring that added value and that really close relation with our clients or potential clients, because we feel that when we talk with some prospect, and we always call it a kickoff meeting to understand what they do and where they want to go and what is their objective. We feel that the fact that we're a family too, and a second generation, having the history of my dad, but also the vision and the future and the new technology, if I can say, of me and my brother, I feel that the client really feels secure. And it's, I think, the proudest thing that I am of is really being a second generation of
second
agency.
Generation, yeah. I love that too. I find that very touching. There's something, as you said, part of your branding is like we serve humans, and we touch humans. And you have that because it's you and your brother running the agency now.
And my dad has created that feeling too. We really were all humans, all equals, and this is why a lot of our employees also are with us for a while now, because we really like to take care of the people that we're surrounded, and we know that if you give a lot, well, you're going to receive at some point. So this is our mentality, and I know you're the same, Nata.
Yes. Sometimes we think it's too much, but we cannot do work differently.
No, and I cannot do less.
No, my partner too, David, is the same.
Oh my God,
we often have that discussion, like, okay, it's good to serve but we have to be careful too. Like sometimes we have to keep some energies for ourselves and not just give everything to the clients to be able to serve them. Actually, we have to be careful sometimes. So how do you respond to people who say, hey, well, branding that's expensive and it costs a lot of money? We hear that all the time, or we hear that for PR also. And what do you tell clients that say, oh, yeah, this is nice, but it's not for me, it's too expensive?
Well, I think unprofessional costs even more for your business, for your reputation. If you have a great brand, you can sell your product or your services at a higher price. As you say at the beginning of the discussion, you can attract more talent if you have a nice brand than the other that look like back in the days in the 70s. I think it's not an expense. I really see it as an investment. So in my mind, it's really, yes, you have to spend for it. But at the end of the day, and we're just thinking about Natura, you spend the right amount at the beginning. You're not going to have to spend at the end of the day. It's like when you buy something cheap, you may buy 7 times the same thing, where if you had choose the expensive one, probably going to be cheaper at the end of the journey. So for me, I really see it. It's what the world's going to see you. So I think it's worth a little bit of money at least.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's a say, sometimes they say that those who live by the number will die by the number. So if they really just look at the numbers and, this costs me a lot of money, it's not bringing me money fast enough in, it's really having a short vision too. So many people do that. And I hear it from so many clients. Some clients have the feeling now that because of the web, and we'll talk a little bit more about all the requests we have from both our clients regarding internet and the web. But I think it's even more important than ever. If you haven't invested in your image is there 24/7, as we just mentioned. So if you don't invest a little bit in your branding, you won't.
And
your competitor is going to kill you. You have an example?
Oh, yeah, I got a best example for you. A proud Québécoise company called Guru just did their IPO in November this year. They went on the exchange at $5 a share. And what now we're March? It's now $14 a share. So yes, they have spent a lot of money at the beginning, but they had a vision. They have a great brand that show all the natural energy of the nature. And it's not one of our clients. It's a good friend of mine that did the recipe. But I saw how the effort they put, how passionate they were, how investment they did for that brand. But look how much it paid off at the end of the day. So you could be the next guru. So never be cheap on your brand or on your communication. That's what's going to bring the value at the end of the day. If you want to sell or just if you want to attract people, for me, it's a no-brainer.
And if anything happens, a pandemic, for example, like we have now,
maybe.
If you've never invested in your image, it's going to be really hard for you guys to survive. We've seen so many companies, they just closed down because they didn't have that. They didn't have that flexibility today. They never invested in their image strong enough. And there are different stories, obviously, but if you look, I love talking about Tesla because it's such a strong image.
You're
and
right.
I love how you compare Tesla and Ford. And it's interesting. So Tesla decided to follow a trend when all the big automotive company, Ford and others, were like, electricity, and look where they are now.
And so look how they're worth by being maybe 1/5 of GM or Ford, and they're worth way more than them on the market.
Yeah,
so I
their
think that
capitalization is really high. Yeah, wait. So this is a perfect example of someone who did invest. Well, they have an owner ambassador that really is amazing and controversial sometimes. That can also damage a brand sometimes. Yeah. But
you're 100% right. You have to stick with what you show to the people. So if you say that the planet is important for you and you do stuff against the planet, the consumer or the market may not be very happy about those public moves.
So true. So what's happening with your clients that wants to sell online, especially after the pandemic? And I gave you that example. Well, thanks to internet, some of our clients. I was talking to you a little bit earlier about this client. He owns a chain of hair salon and he was selling products to some boutiques, but never had an online store, so he wasn't selling any products online. But thanks to internet, he was selling products through his Facebook page. So people were sending orders through Messenger or by email. Isn't that crazy?
That's good. But it probably was time consuming, but he was creative and he found a way of at least survive in that hard time. And I'm so impressed of the creativity of those entrepreneurs that have been really all at the same time on the same step. And some has really came up with some creativity. And this
we've seen a lot with restaurants too. Like restaurants who weren't selling online decided to do they were in touch with their clients. Thank God they created their own community. So many of them had a Facebook page or they had a list of their clients. So they were able to reach them out and say, hey, I'll order and we'll do some pickup. And at least, they were able to serve them and keep some of their employees. And oh my God.
No, but it was so sudden. No, restaurant for me too. I cannot even start talking about this. I have the little emotion in my voice because I'm such a foodie.
But thanks to internet, many of them were able to survive. So to say that the web now is like an obsession for, even for us, it is an obsession now. And we are, my partner and I, we're really like in it, and we're doing stuff, and we're even investing our own money to see how it works and to be able to explain to our clients after, well, we've done it. We know how this works because we've even ourselves spent money promoting some services or some activities that we now have at the agency. So what are you doing now what do they want? What do they ask your clients?
Well, I think that, and this is very interesting, a lot of people want to be on the web, think they can do web, but doing web has to be done with a strategy, with a goal, because it could be very, very pricey, could be very time consuming. So this is why I recommend to everybody be on the web, even though I not even have my finalized website right now, but I do it for all of my clients.
It's not magic, right? It's not magic. People think that's the new Saint Graal, as we say. So yes. It's the new magic recipe. Well, no, it's not.
And doing web without a strategy and a goal, you're not able to quantify how much you're going to spend too. And what I also think is important is if you do one action on a web, how much it's going to bring you at the end of the day. At least come break even, but a lot of people invest in the wrong technology, do a lot of it, a lot of people calling themselves expert, which they're really, really not. So this is why one of the advice I say is validate and check more one agency when you want to work for maybe web. Try a different agency too. That's another way of really finding the right fit for your company. But
so true.
Yes, web is a must, but do it smart. You will not regret it. And the build-up that could create, the leads that could be brought is incredible. But it has to be done with a thought behind.
Yeah. I was telling one of my clients the other day, well, you and I remember when internet didn't exist. So you keep your same thinking. It's the marketing base is the same. Who's your client? How old is he? Is it a woman? Is it a man? So, and then what's different now is your potential clients are going to be at different places. They're not just going to be watching TV. They're not just going to be on Facebook. They're not just on Instagram. So be careful. This is what I told my client. I said, just, ask questions when you have this new marketing agency that's just selling you
only online stuff, only online,
Instagram
only online
campaigns when you're selling anti-aging products. Ask questions.
And you're 100% right, Night. A lot of people do that mistake. Oh, everybody's on web. I'm only going to do web. Worst thing to do is to put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. And it's not only because I'm fond of Nata, but having that mixed media of a traditional and a numeric, and you're the proof in the pudding, as we say in English. Yeah. You have been able to create a huge base of influencer or people that are writing blogs that, yes, can do a push, but there's nothing like an article in a newspaper or a magazine that speak to your potential client. And as you say, if I'm selling something for the bel âge or the older people, why doing advertising on Instagram or TikTok? So choose right, please.
Yes.
That's the only advice that I have to say. And yes, mixed media for me.
And exactly. Do a combination of different platforms.
Actions and try. You cannot be, yes, you can be served by different type of company that could all fit with you, but you will find a fit that's right for you.
For sure. And let's talk about the future a little bit. I always love to ask that question. Do you do any plans at ORFE? Do you plan like 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead? Or?
Well, of course we plan. We plan like any company, but I think we're at a point, and that's also an advantage of having a second generation company, is we're at a point where right now our market is the world, our client is the world. And what we want to do is really give all those tools and all the added value of ORFE to our clients so they can shine. We're not the one that doing any contests. We're not applying. Our victory is the success of our client. And this is why for us, the future, yes, we want to grow. I don't want to become a big company. We want to stay small because this is what makes us, I think, also more human and accessible. And no, we're not the cheapest agency, but what you're paying for is for quality and all the expertise that is lasting through the years that luckily with my dad or keep that into the brain of Orfé. So it's so fun talking with you, Nat. I really, really like
I'll
that.
invite you again. There's so many teams, so many things. I'm sure that our listeners will want to hear more about what you do and how we work together too. So maybe we could even take one case study eventually, because everybody wants to know how to work with influencers. And I think we have a huge success with a client, and we did a huge campaign. Maybe we could do a podcast on that. Would be interesting.
Very good idea, and show the relation of the both force and see where it brought the client and where it's bringing other of our clients at the moment we're talking.
Yeah, why it was successful, what we did. So it's always interesting to talk about that. So, and if our listeners want to find you, I'll put your website on the show notes, obviously, so they'll find you there. So you have your your phone number.
The black page with my phone number.
That's all you need.
Exactly. No, that's not all you need. I don't lead by example. So, but definitely you will see. If you're going at the end of the year, you will see a real presence for
website,
us.
Yes, that's our goal to have a new website in a year.
No, but you know, we don't want to do web like everybody's doing web. I just don't want to show who I'm working with, my portfolio. So this is why for us, it has to be thought the way that we're thinking. So this is why sometimes it's hard.
It takes longer,
even more for us to find what we need. But we can do it perfectly.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see your new website. So my guest today was Laurence Lachance. She's Vice President Business Development for Orfé agency, a branding agency. So thank you so much. I hope you, my friends, listeners, that you've learned a few things. And I'm sure I'm going to have Laurence as a guest again for a future podcast. And as I say all the time, à la semaine prochaine. Merci, Laurence.
Thank you. Merci so much. Merci so much. Nothing like that. Thank you so much, my dear.
Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata@natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.